do this.
Welcome back, family. Hey, thanks for joining us here for the Cover Price Top 10 of the week of January 22nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever the heck today is. 22nd. Don't even know what day it is, which is, it's Comic Land. There's no days. So in the house, we've already got Sicker Buns, who is cooking, but hopefully he's hearing us in the background. And we've got Robert joining. Yes, how's it going? And as he says there, my name is Rich. This is Timo Hanna, and welcome to the show. Um, Normally I would just call this the Cover Price Top 10, but I think today we'll just call it the Amazing Spider-Man Show or Ultimate Spider-Man Show. I mean, have you guys seen this list? This is nuts. Oh man. Okay, let me see if I can get that going. So we got present, share screen, and we're gonna pick this one, share, and then we can show this is the Cover Price Top 10 today. So we have Spidey image. So, geez, really? Okay, so let's get right into it. We'll start with number 10, which is okay. That didn't help. If you click on the little X, it makes the thing disappear. So that's not what you want to do. So we have Darker Image, number 1 from 1993. First appearance of the Max, Deathblow, and Blood Wolf. Now, the reason this is popping up is, in case you guys haven't heard the rumors, Channing Tatum, who has been trying to get a Gambit movie for the longest time, apparently those efforts are now just shot down. It's just not going to happen. Or if it's going to happen, it's not happening with Channing Tatum. He is now, though, involved in, and I believe greenlit for, making a movie of the Max. So this is the first appearance of the Max from 31 years ago. Boy, time flies. This is not an expensive book. Raws, no grades for $1. Most common raw is $3. Slabbed 92 for a 9.8. Last sale of 80 on the 20th, but that was pre-news. I believe this news just broke yesterday, which would be the 21st. So you're not going to find it for 80, but you still can find it for under 100. It's not a bad investment at a 9.8. The highest known value is back in 2020. This book sold for $338, and that was granted during the boom, but it was not during any time where they were announcing a movie coming out of the Max. Now, to take everything with a grain of salt, just remember that what do you call it? The Toxic Avenger also came out with a movie, which went, and nobody saw it. Nobody even heard about the dang thing, even though it had a big cast. And that book is now returning quickly to, well, better late than never. Welcome, Larry. Sorry, there's no Dazzler on the list, but you can still represent. Jason, how's it going? Welcome to the show. So yeah, for the price of 90-ish bucks for a 9.8 of a 31-year-old book with the first appearance of a character that a lot of people know, I don't think that's a terrible investment. But I wouldn't wait for it to go up too much higher. The more that rumor spreads, the more that book's going to go up in price. So this might be your opportunity to jump in and get that. All right, so I'm going to close out that tab, and I'm going to go to this one. Coming at number 9, we have the first of 9 Ultimate Spider-Man related books. I can't just say Ultimate Spider-Man books because it's not all. But this is a 1 in 25. Pretty decent cover. It's a first appearance of Richard and May Parker, as every one of these books actually is. The last recorded sale is $26. And we see that we've got a near mint that went for $30 on the 21st. You got a $29, a $10 one on the 14th, but that was before everything started shooting up. The fact that all these books are shooting up so much in price, and the 1 in 25 is only going for ratio $26, $28 for a 1 in 25. That shows me that there's a lot of ratios. And if there's a lot of ratios, that means that stores had to order a lot of the books, because you only get one of these for every 25 books you order. So let's just say that there's 10 different covers. Actually, I could come down here and look at it. Wow, there's a lot of different covers. So, yeah, we have 24, 29 different covers of this book. Oh, we have a second print coming out. So just keep that in mind. So 29 different covers. So let's just say stores ordered three, four of each, of some of the main copies. It's very easy for them to have gotten 50 copies of this book. A few of these, a few of those, and wind up with two of the ratios. Two of the ratios, 2,000 plus stores in the United States. You're probably looking at about 5,000 copies, which is not that rare as far as, copies of books. However, if the books are selling really well, the 1 in 25 is still rarer than any other version of the book. So it might not be a terrible one to pick up if you can find your store still stuck with it for 25 to 30 bucks. Coming in number 8, we have Ultimate Spider-Man #1. You're going to hear me say this a lot, man. What do you mean you missed the boat on purpose? You just didn't feel like buying this book at all, or just elaborate, please? I would love to know. So, yes, this is the first appearance of Richard and May Parker. This is the Marco Cicchetto Costume Tease C. Now, there's a Costume Tease A. I don't see a Costume Tease B on the list. I'm not going to research every cover because, as I just said, there's 29 different covers. It's a cool cover. I'm not familiar with the artist. However, the last sale on this was 32. We've got sales for this going for 25, 24. So about the same price as the 1 in 25 or just about every other main variant. The books that are going to be on this list out of all these covers are going to be the ones that everybody likes the best, with the exception of one, and we'll cover that when we get to it. But again, it's just another cover, and I just wonder about how many of all of these were printed, which makes me wonder about its investability. Number 7 is 1097. Yes. Actually, I can close that one out and just stay there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Ultimate Spider-Man #1, the Mateus Manhanini Ultimate Special. I have no idea what Ultimate Special means. It's not a ratio variant. I don't know. Maybe just the cover itself showing that it is, it's got the reflections in the glass. And that is a really cool cover. I like that. But for some reason, in that pose, it makes me think of Black Panther more than Spider-Man. Just avoiding modern, saving my money for older books. That is never a bad thing, buddy. Never a bad thing. And I wholeheartedly understand. I do like this cover. I think that's supposed to be Richard Parker in the background. I'm not sure. But if so, then that means that one of the other books on here is not a one of a kind. Again, I don't know the numbers of each one of the printings, and it's very hard to get the print runs of these books these days. Number 6, we have Ultimate Spider-Man #1, the David Marquez first appearance of Richard and May Parker. And I've seen this one on, I believe, on last week's list. It's a cool cover, but nothing overly amazing about it. Yeah. I'm sure that some people like it more than I do. I don't hate it. I just think it's okay. I just imagine his suit getting all covered up with bird poop. Another thing that's really bothered me about this, I lived in New York City. Once in a while, you will see a white pigeon, but they're not white. They're all gray or black. If you had this many white pigeons, either you just ran into a flock of doves from somebody's wedding, or the person who drew this has not been in New York. So maybe that might be what bothers me. They don't look like pigeons. Number 5. Oh, wait, before we get to number 5, I do have to give a big shout out to the Patreon members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel as you always do. Got to start to figure out when we're going to go to our next meetup. Also, I have recorded the Back Issue Book Club. I'm going to be uploading that and sending the link over to Patreon for you guys tonight. And hey, Hector, how's it going, dude? Welcome to the show. We got the cursor on the wrong screen. There we go. For the rest of you guys who want to know the Back Issue Book Club, that airs on Thursdays. I like this cover. As a matter of fact, I did get a copy of this cover as well. On Previews Guy, when I saw it small, it looked better than I thought it looked in person. But still, I'm not going to turn down Mary Jane on the cover. It is a J. Scott Campbell, and it's just like every other one, seemed to be selling for around the $25 mark. I don't know. I think this one is not going to hold as well as some of the others because I think a lot of people pre-order the J. Scott Campbell's and the ones that Mary Jane, same as I did. So I think the print run on this cover is going to be a little bit higher. I missed these two. Missed a lot of boats recently. Well, right after Christmas, everybody's broke. I'll tell you who did not miss a copy of cover A. KBDM, who won a copy last week on New Comic Book Day. I had pre-ordered 2. One of them, I didn't know it was going to be that hot. I'm glad it was. So, KB, if you're catching this on the rewind, because I don't see it here right now, replay, your books got mailed out today. He had picked the Ultimate Spider-Man and the Zorro book. So, Amazing Spider-Man, which is not amazing, it's Ultimate, but A to Z. There you go. We got your cover from A to Z. Coming in number 4, we have Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. This is a Ryan Stegman cover. And this one has the cover appearance. And it even says first appearance and cover appearance of Richard and May Parker. Now, I'm assuming that, that this is Richard Parker right here. So if that's the case, and I was right about that other book, which, let's move back over to here, was coming in at number 7. Opening this up, isn't that Richard Parker there also? I mean, I think that that's supposed to be him there as well. So if that's the case, shouldn't this one also say first cover appearance of Richard Parker? This one might be a sleeper. So we got to watch out for this one. But jumping back to this one, though, it's especially Happy Holidays. So this book not only having the first cover appearance of Richard and May Parker, but it will be one of those books that does go up every year at Christmas time, which is kind of funny. Been giving away lots of hot books lately. I try to. I mean, it's no fun if I only give away, dollar bin stuff. I got to give away some cool stuff. I still remember, was it last year when 8 Billion Genies came out? The winner that week was going to get that was before I started doing choices. And based on a recommendation at Syndicate and that it was selling very well, I picked up a cover A, cover B, cover C of number 1. And that was for the winner. And the person that won never claimed it. So I waited 3 months because I wait a while for people to claim it. I'm not just giving like, oh, you got 20 minutes and that's it. After 3 months, I opened the thing back up and I sent it off a grading and they all came back 9.8s. So out of all the covers, this is one of the ones I think that has a cool potential because I don't know if this one would have gotten ordered as much as all the others. Segment is, I mean, he's a good artist, but this one doesn't have that same eye candy appeal that some of the other one does, but it's got more significance if the characters become really popular and the story does have the legs that we're all hoping it does. Coming in number 3, we have the Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, Marco Cicchetto costume tease A. Now, honestly, it's good, but I don't know, just something about his legs that just don't look right. There's too many straight lines for muscle. Oh, you got the segment? Cool. how does that look in person? Just let me know. Um, I'm not crazy about this particular cover, and also his web shooters are coming out of the backs of his wrists, not the front. But that now, hang on a second. I'm coming back. I'm here. So if you're shooting a web, it makes sense the way it was originally drawn for you to shoot it and then be able to grab it. So this guy's got to shoot it, then spin his hand around and grab it. What? That doesn't make sense to me. Not crazy about that. Anyway, um, not in love with the cover, but I see that $75, $77. Again, is this a harder to find ratio variant? I don't think so. 60, 75. I think that this one's a bit high. Highest known raw value, 103. I really think that this might be as high as it is because nobody ordered it. Wow. That's shocking. And I'm not crazy about the cover. Usually I like the costume covers. It's why I would go get the book and read it. Hey, you know what? I agree 100%. Especially when I was reading comics, like, when I was younger, it was a great cover that got me to pick the book up off the shelf. Unless I was reading every single month, I got to get my X-Men, I got to get my Spider-Man, I got to get my Web of Spider-Man, I got to get my Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man. Uh, I got to pick up my Marvel 2-in-1s. I got to pick up my Marvel team-ups. I like those stories. I was a kid. Other than that, you want to know what pulled me into a lot of books back when I was a kid, and I wasn't a reader of the series? It was just the John Byrne art on Fantastic Four. Oh, some of those covers in the 200s, just like, that looks like it's gonna be awesome. So I don't see any reason why this is going for 70, $75, other than the fact that it's probably the lowest printed of them. So, I mean, you got a costume tease B, a costume tease C. So those are both by the same person. This costume tease A, it's all three are done by the same guy. And it's kind of like a black suit version. You've got the classic Spider-Man version and the Spider-Man 2099 version. But again, I'm not overly feeling it. So I'm sorry. Me, I wouldn't invest in it. I don't think that one's going to have legs as far as value wise. Moving to number 2 is the cover A of the Marco Tichetto Ultimate Spider-Man #1 with the same pose in the classic Spider-Man costume, which is also the same as one of his teaser costume teaser. I think it's a costume teaser B. Um, it's an okay cover, but what's important though, it is a cover A. This is the one that everybody will look for. First appearance of Richard May Parker, of course. Selling now for 50 to 60, 9.8s pre-selling at 140. We have 75 is a lot for a raw. Wait until these books start selling slabbed. Yeah, exactly. Kenneth, hey, welcome to the show. How's it going, bud? So, I mean, I've seen this one just continually go up, 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 but I don't know. Is $50 to $60 for a cover A of a modern book too much, especially if it's Marvel? How many of these books are there going to be? 10,000, 20,000, 50,000? I don't know. I really don't think that they are going to be that hard to find. I think just people bought a bunch of copies and they're going to start coming out. I think stores sold out of them really quick. People went in and bought several copies. But I mean, I got 2 copies, one to give away, one for myself. And don't get me wrong, I'm hoping they do hold the values. I mean, some of the books lately have held. The first appearance of Spider Boy 9.8 is still going for around the $100 mark. So, do I think that this is going to be 140 for a 9.8 after slabs start coming back? No, they'll go down if you are patient. Absolutely, the 9.8s of every one of these pre-sales is always going to drop. It's just, if people are pre-selling 9.8s, and that means that they have enough to cover their orders. They've got 25, they got 50, they got 100 copies, just sending it for pre-screening. Um, they're going to have more than enough to cover these orders, which means as they send in their 25 or 50 books, if they pre-sell 10, 12, 15 of the books and the other 10 come back, they'll throw them up on eBay and they'll just lower the price until they sell them, because no matter what they sell them for, it's gravy. Even if they start selling it for 75, they're still making a profit. So I I think that this book will settle quite a bit. I'm thinking this is probably going to come around down to around the Spider Boy level, be about a 95 ish, 85 to $95 for a 9.8, and 25 to 30 for a raw in nice condition. I think 50 to 60 is nuts, and 140 is a bit too high. So if you have them, great time to sell them. I only have one, and I talk about that, but I don't seem to sell it myself. Um, but I would hold off on, if you missed it and didn't get it for cover price, I would hold off on getting it just yet. And coming in at number one, which is interesting, we've got the Ultimate Invasion #1 second print. And I don't know if the second print is the same art, but this one is the first cover appearance of the new Ultimate Spider-Man from Earth 6160 and Peter Parker from Earth 6160. So this one, of course, is shooting up in price because it's the Ultimate Spider-Man series and the first appearance of this character on the cover. And I swear it looks like with RoboCop. Is in Ultimate Invasion from August of last year. If anybody knows if the cover A of this, or if had the same artwork, or if it was different, please shoot it in the text in the chat. I'd love to know that. But this one is actually selling for 23 and 112 in a 9.8. Let's see what we got here. I had to wait a couple of years for the high ratio Immortal Hulk to drop in prices. Yeah. Thankfully, though, a lot of the books have dropped in price, and I'm glad it. Look, patience isn't my best virtue. I say wait a lot of times, but then I'll be like tossing a train in the middle of the night going, I gotta get it. I know I don't lose sleep over it, but I just do very impulsive things stupidly sometimes. In any event, though, if this character does become as popular as he is, I think that the first cover appearance from last year on the second print for $23, $28, or 112 for a raw, I mean for a graded, is actually a decent investment. I mean, if this turns out to be like a Spider Boy type of thing, or I don't know if he's going to be as popular as Miles, I doubt that, but let's just say Spider Boy. The first appearance was in the second print from last year that nobody bought. Hey, what the heck? And Ultimate Invasion in August. I'm trying to remember, when did Secret Invasion come out? Was everybody pissed off at anything with the word invasion on it? It's a pretty low print book. But like I said, $23 for a raw, 112 for a 9.8. Not a terrible investment. Not at all. There's actually a couple books on this list that are not terrible books. But oops, we have to go back to the CovrPrice top 10 list. There we go. So that's our top 10 list. And now I've got to come up with two picks. One is my gun to the head. Gun to the head pick on this show is, if I have to buy one book off of this list at current today prices with the best chance to make money, which one would I pick? And honestly, for me, it's really, really easy to pick, because I was on here about 20 minutes before the show looking at the list. I saw one, I liked it, I went on eBay and I bought it. So I don't even need a gun to my head. I actually went and bought this book. I bought it for $85 because, like I said, it's a first appearance. It is an older book, which already tells you we are talking about Darker Image #1, first appearance of the Max and I was able to get a copy before the show started off of eBay for 85. It was from Canada, so it included $20 shipping, but it was still less than paying 95 with $19 shipping from the United States. Don't be afraid to buy from Canada, guys. It might take a little longer to come to you, but if it doesn't come to you, you still got your PayPal protection. So um, I think that the first appearance of the Max in a 9.8 slabbed for under $100, even if this movie does not come out, it's still, I'm not going to lose money on this. It's, if anything, it's just going to stay there or slowly go up in price just because of inflation. But if this movie does start to come to fruition and it gets a trailer, this book, yeah, highest known value of 338, it's going to be eclipsed. So, um, I'd be on the lookout for this book from 1993 from Image. Okay, so next one is what we call. See, I see the Dark Image still in their polybag in dollar bins all the time. Yes, well, I agree with you, but there's several other books like Ultimate Fallout 4 that were in polybags, and if they're still in polybags after 30 years, you're gonna have a hard time getting a 9.8 with it. I wish I knew you were looking for that book. I have dozens of copies of Darker Image. I got a slabbed one. I got a slab 9.8, so that's not terrible. Um, but yeah, the slabbed the graded nine getting a 9.8 on a polybag book that's still in the polybag after 30 years, it does make it tougher. Um, all right, so rubber band to the butt is the opposites of the gun to the head. This is what I consider to be the worst pick for investability reasons on this list. There's a couple on here that I think are really going to tank in price, but I think what's coming in at the number 3 pick here would be the Ultimate Spider-Man Marco Cicchetto Costume Tees A for $75 for a raw. I get it's the black suit version of it, but I don't see a regular price book going for more than the cover A and 3 times the price of the 1 in 25. Got to be number 9, huh? Oh, what does he say is number 9? Oh, well, that's a 1 in 25. That's not terrible. I mean, this one, at least this, you're saying Hector thinks this the worst pick is the number 9. Unless he was thinking this was my gun on my head pick that I would buy. To get a 1 in 25 version for $26 of a hot book, I don't think is bad. I mean, I'm not overly crazy about the artwork on it. Again, it's good, but there's no real artwork in this on any of these covers that has really blown me away. Just for rarity wise, I don't think that's terrible. But I think that the costume variant of the black costume, the costume tees A for $75 for a non ratio variant. This would make it the most expensive of all the variant covers, of all the covers, not just the variant covers. And I don't see that. I don't see it being holding up that kind of value at all. I think this is going to come back down and eventually be even with the cover A, and I think they're both going to come down to about the $20 to $25 mark, which would make this one lose 2/3 of its value. Just me. Okay. So, other than that, guys, what do you guys think are the best slash worst picks of this list? I mean, I want to know what you guys have to say also. If you had to buy one, if you uh guys just had to buy one, but are there any on this list that you're looking to get right now? Throw that in the comments. I would like to know that, and I'm sure that everybody else would also. That's about it. So I'm gonna wrap the show up so I can upload the Back Issue Book Club that I recorded right before going on, and get that link over to our Patreon members today. And for the non-Patreon members, you'll be able to see it on Thursday. We're reading Saga issues 7 through 18, and also issue number 5 of Kill Your Darlings. And if you want to know how those are going, You just got to tune into that. If you want to get early access to that, and as I become more familiar with computer controls, more access to other things, please feel free to join us on Patreon at patreon.com/TimoHana. Check us out on Instagram as well. I'd love to have some more followers over there. It's Timo Hana Family at Instagram. You should familiarize yourself with that anyway, because that's where you're going to contact me to give me your address when I'm talking to you, win on New Comic Book Day. Thank you. I appreciate it, Larry. So it's still a little weird doing this by myself. I forgot how I did the show before, Greg, but I miss him not being here. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Until I see you in the next video, though, mahalo.